Napoli get back on top in a big way, and Bayern's challengers in the Bundesliga continue to show out, just not against them.
England's Manchesters are on the verge of swapping spots. And in Spain, what can you say? El Clasico delivered again. All this and more on this episode of the No Business Soccer Podcast, episode 97. 3 away, guys. 3 away, guys. Snooze. Kick us off.
Let's dig in. Hey, what is up, everybody? Welcome to the No Business Soccer Podcast. I'm your host, Snooze, and we got the whole gang with us. I've never said that in my life, and all of a sudden I just said it right now, baby. The No Business gang. Anyway, we got the full fam. We got Brainiac J-Fam in the back, Danny P on the ones and twos, and of course, the main man, Hype Man Vic. What you sipping on, dog?
Well. Today I wanted to use my walnut liqueur, and I was gonna have a sentimental gentleman, which of course you know, Snooze is Scotch, Benedictine, and a walnut liqueur. But yes, of course. And but I am still trying to finish this bottle of Stag because I got a couple more that I need to break into, and they're all different. So I made a staggering gentleman, which just replaces the Scotch with Stag foolproof bourbon, and it's absolutely delicious. I will make some for you guys if you ever come over for the No Biz fam, people in the crowd too, but I'm talking about like on the podcast here.
Yes,
but for sure it is absolutely delicious, nutty, and full of bourbon, those peanut notes. Oh, it's so good.
Well, as you know, not a big Scotch fan, so
perfect. This has none in it.
Clink. I don't know. I interrupted your clink.
Damn, yeah, that's right. I thought you were going to talk a little bit more, so I put that down. But while I take a drink of this elixir, go ahead and hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. It's the best way to help us out and tell YouTube, hey, maybe these guys are pretty cool to hang out with and talk some European football. So I cheers you. I do appreciate it. Ready? That one wasn't too good, but it's full of liquid. So
you got to like tape something up there that like actually clinks, you know?
Yeah.
Make it a little bit harder of a clink. Yeah. Well, it is a European wrap-up, or as some people call it, the European reach-around, which means we're covering all the leagues from Serie A, Bundesliga, La Liga, and the Prem, and everything that went on in the matches this weekend. But I think before we got Austin FC Minute. True? Yes. Okay, well, before we get started, we got to go boots on the ground in Austin, Texas for the Austin FC Minute.
Yes, sir. This one might actually be a minute because it is playoff time, baby. The first game is Wednesday. Again, like I said last time, it is at 9:30 p.m. here in Austin,
9:30? Oh, my God.
Yes, they got to accommodate for the LA peeps. So yes, at 7:30. And it is a tall mountain to climb, but crazier things have happened. Usman Bukhari will be back. He was not in the squad for the last game of the season, but Diego Rubio will not make the trip. And I mean, it's been a while. There's not much else to report except I hope everyone is ready. I'm ready, Snooze. I don't know if I'm going to go to one of the watch parties or just stay cozy here because it's all supposed to be like 60 degrees on Wednesday too, right? Like,
beautiful. That's what I keep hearing.
Yeah,
that's what I keep hearing. Hopefully.
I might just stay cozy at home under a blanket, watch the game, and I don't know. We'll see.
I'm off this week, so I might be cozy in your blankets too.
Oh.
Like not in the same blanket, but like in fellow blankets, just to clarify. So
good.
Looking forward to it. Sunday going to be here too.
Yes. And then Sunday, I was going to talk about the next one, but Sunday it will be here in Austin, Texas. It's going to be at, actually, I don't know if it's 7:30 or 6. I don't know how they do.
I think 7:30. I was looking at it today.
7:30. Yeah. So we won the Sun lottery. Sun gets to come by Q2 Stadium. We get to see him play.
Excited.
Yeah, it's gonna be great. Along with Dennis Bouanga. Bouanga is really good too. Them two together are insane. So
look, before we jump in though, I want to say two of my fan idols, I guess we'll call them. My favorite athletes for the teams that I like have just been really cool lately. Sonny being one of them. They're talking to him in interviews and stuff, and he was talking about Spurs and how he calls it his team, and like he's still part of the team, and he always is going to be back there one day, and blah blah. And it's just like, yeah, you can be in those black and gold colors, but you're Spurs. It was just a cool gesture for him to say that stuff, which we all knew it, but to say it. And Aaron Rodgers said the same thing. He was just like, I'm a Packer. Like, I'm going to retire a Packer and blah, blah, which is just really cool to hear as well. Love those guys. Anyway, sentimental stuff here. No one else cares. Let's jump into it, though, Vic. I think we have a lot to talk about, and there's a lot of headlines. So much happened this weekend. We got to cram it all in this little bit of time. Look at us, 5 minutes and 50 seconds in already. I bet we can do this, Vic. Let's make it happen. Let's go to Italy.
Let's do it to Serie A.
Yeah. Going into this weekend, it looked like it was going to be a lot of good matchups here, and it delivered, sir. It did deliver.
Sir. Yes, sir. It did. Serie A match day 8. Let's go ahead and jump into it. We're going to jump into it with our top matches and headlines from Serie A match day 8. Your no business top matches and headlines. And we'll start at number 1. It is Napoli ×3.
That just happened after Napoli got blown out by PSV midweek, Vic. They bounced back in a big way against Inter with a 3-1 win. McTominay and Anguissa score unbelievable goals, and Conte and Lautaro get in a sack-grabbing scuffle, and it sends Napoli to the top of the Serie A table. Did you see that, Vic?
I didn't see the sack-grabbing scuffle yet. Right. I still got to look at that because, I was unaware of that. Okay. But yeah, it was in our short. So if you guys saw our short, I added that in there. Yeah. But we'll go ahead and move on to number 2 because this is one of the teams I get updates on because, of course, Captain America. But Pisa take a slice out of Milan.
In a game they thoroughly dominated, it took a stoppage time goal for Milan to salvage a point from Pisa with a 2-2 draw. A point is better than nothing, obviously, but Salamakers had a chance to win it deep into stoppage time, and he blew it. Though it was just a tough night for Milan in overall.
That's why they play the game. It was number 1 versus number 20, and I was waiting for a notification because they were down 2-1 for a while. I was like, oh my god, they're gonna do it, and we talked about they're
actually gonna lose.
Yeah. We talked about this game like I don't even. Yeah, this is gonna be a blow.
My exact messaging was like, I'm not gonna do much analysis on this. Like, we know that Milan are gonna win. Exactly. What do I know, dude? What do I know?
That's why they play the game. But yeah, let's go ahead and move on to our third headline from Serie A match day 8, and it is a Vardy party.
It wasn't a pretty goal. It wasn't a great game. Hell, Cremonese didn't even win this match, but they do draw with the AT Aliens, and Vardy scored a goal, and it was the moment that those Cremonese fans have all been waiting for. Way to go, Jamie Vardy.
Yeah, I mean, Cremonese is sitting at mid-table right now. That's pretty crazy, man. For their AI badge. Yeah, they're all over for their AI badge still sitting in it, and still crazy to see Vardy playing with them. It's pretty cool. And then we'll go on to number 4. I still haven't talked to my boy Christian, but it is Tudor no more.
With Juve losing their 3rd match in a row in all competitions in a 1-0 loss to Lazio, Igor Tudor has been relieved of his duties as manager, and amidst that's a tough word to say, this 8-match winless run. Juve are 8th in the table with 3 wins, 3 draws, and 2 losses in Serie A, and have 2 draws and a loss in the Champions League. Not a good time for Juve.
Yeah, like I said, I haven't talked to my boy Christian. You were talking about Juve. I know the last time we talked was 2 weeks ago, and I mean, I'm Liverpool. He's Juve. There's not much to talk about right now. It's not a great time for either of us.
No, we don't need to talk. We don't need to talk about soccer right now. Who cares?
Yeah. So we're like, one thing that did come up was Tudor, and he was saying, I don't know if he's gonna last long. I was like, they don't get rid of him, do they? They do.
Yeah,
they do get rid of him. Yeah,
they do.
Yeah, crazy. But yeah, those are your. Oh, go ahead. Sorry. Before I go on.
No, I was just gonna say you can't be at a club like that with results like that for 8 in a row. Like, just haven't won 8 matches in a row, or haven't won for 8 matches in a row. That's recipe for disaster.
Mm-hmm. And it happened. So tough break. But those are your top matches and headlines for Serie A match day 8. Now let's just go into the match day, and it started on Friday again with that Milan and Pisa 2-2 draw.
I was dumb to jump to conclusions here, as we just said. I chalked it up to a win for Milan and say they would win big, stay on top of the league, all of this, and especially against the bottom team, right, Vic? Like, duh, of course that's going to happen. Honest mistake, though. It won't happen again because I will never say that I know what's going to happen, because any given Sunday, things change. But it was Pisa though. Like you just expected a win. With this win though, Pisa have drawn back-to-back matches, and they're no longer at the bottom of the table. So that's pretty cool.
Yep, and that was our only Friday match. We moved on this Saturday as it was another draw. Parma and Como drawing 0-0.
Como just can't stay consistent with their results as they fall on the road to Parma. Well, fall. I mean, to me, it felt like a loss. So I guess fall. They don't get a win. They drop points, rather. It was a match with very few chances, very little creativity, and it just shows that Como are still a young and growing team. And we think they're an established finished product, but they're not yet. They're starting to get it, but they're not there yet.
And then our next match on Saturday was what I thought was a battle of the gray badges as Udinese welcomed Lecce and win 3-2.
Udinese put on a show against the Milkmen and scored 3 goals. The last time they scored 3 in Serie A was over a year and a half ago from the last I could see. Just not a ton of goals being scored by this team, but they put it on the Milkmen. The scoreline looks a little closer than it was as Udinese were up 3-1 before Lecce scored in stoppage time to make it look a little closer. But either way to go, Udinese.
And then we had a big one up next as Napoli take the victory 3-1 against Inter.
Yeah, we talked about the headline of it all and all the drama that unfolded, but let's dig into the actual match. And it was this match is kind of what it was all about this weekend and what made this match day special. Just when you think you've had everything figured out, things switch up on you. Napoli were done. The press was writing books about their downfall, and yet somehow they pulled themselves out of the gutter and they get a huge win over Inter. Napoli's second goal, I mean, it was just a thing of beauty. So sexy. Spinazzola with the beautiful assist. McTominay was smart enough to let it bounce over his shoulder a couple times, and he look around whenever it's bouncing, make sure no one's coming up on him, and just blasts it, puts his leg through it into the net. I mean, it's just such a good goal. I had switched it because I was watching other matches at the same time. That's what I try to do here, try to see everything. And I get a text from Danny P, it's our group chat. And he's like, dude, did you just see that goal from McTominay? And I missed it live. So I'm actually mad at myself, but I watched the rest of it after that because there were some bangers. But again, we got to ask on that goal, where the hell was Inter's defense? It was like there was no one within 10 yards of McTominay, but either way, great goal. And after the penalty by Çalhanoğlu, there was some tension in the air, but Anguissa makes a run for the ages, dipping and sliding in between defenders, buries the winner. And man, it was just an awesome match. And it kind of brings Napoli back to the top of the table in a fashion that, like if they had done it and let's say Inter dropped points to another team, whatever, but they beat the team to beat. And obviously Milan were the top spot, but you get my point. Inter, everybody was scared of them. They were dominant in their matches recently. And Napoli, not so much, and they make it happen. It was just really cool to see. I didn't see it coming, but whatever. Conte makes it work, and he wins the nut grabbing match in the end. I don't know what that was all about, but I wish we had video to show. We'll have it in our short. If you're watching this, go check out the short. We'll have it in there. Just a weird situation overall. These teams don't like each other. Neither does the coach and the players apparently. So yeah, great match, Vic.
And then we move on to our last match of Saturday. It was Cremonese and Atalanta fighting for 1 point apiece, 1-1 on goals, under all.
As I mentioned in the highlights, not a great showing for Atalanta, who continue to underwhelm with 4 straight draws, but the result is for sure better for Cremonese, who are sitting mid-table and looking like a team that's staying up at the moment.
And that wrapped up our Saturday. We moved on to Sunday as Torino welcome Genoa and win 2-1.
Tough result for Genoa as they played well and did enough to deserve at least a point in this one, but an own goal in the 63rd minute kept Torino alive, and then they score in the 90th to take all 3 points. Things just keep getting worse for Genoa.
Next, we had Cagliari going on the road against Verona, both fighting to a 2-2 draw.
Verona were so close to getting their first win of the season. They led 2-0 going into the 77th minute, and that was all the time Cagliari needed to get 2 goals and come back to draw, breaking the hearts of the Verona home fans.
And our next match had Sassuolo welcoming Roma, and Roma take the victory 1-0.
Roma continue to be the kings of the 1-0 with 7 shots on target, but just 1 going in. And it was enough to bring home all 3 points. So what does it matter? And what a hell of a goal it was for Dybala. What the hell? What the hell? Anyway, Dybala's goal was amazing. Go check it out. The dude oozes class when he finishes, and they just haven't come that frequently. But if you see him scoring in those kits, I think those kits are a work of art, and that goal was a work of art because he was wearing it. How about that, Vic?
Not bad. And then we had our next match, which was our Fiorentina taking on Bologna, both fighting to a 2-2 draw.
Bologna and Fiorentina put on a show in this one, with Bologna going 2-0 up. With the first goal was a freaking rocket from Castro. He was trying to break the net, it seemed like. But our Fiorentina came storming back thanks to 2 penalties given for handballs, the second of which was scored by Moise Kean in the 94th minute. But oh, what could have been with a free kick given to our Fiorentina in the 98th minute? It bounces around the box, falls directly to Dodo, who is unmarked, and the keeper is nowhere near him, Vic. And he rushes the shot. He splices it, whatever they call it, misses the goal. I mean, it was honestly harder to miss than to make. And I mean, the bench, this is how bad it was. The bench for Fiorentina was sprinting onto the field when they saw it drop to him, and then they all dropped to their knees because he misses it. You can celebrate that they get a draw, but man, they really needed a win here.
And then we ended our match day 8 with the new manager making match, which was Lazio getting a 1-0 win over Juve.
I did not expect Lazio to add to Juve's misery, but that's exactly what they did with this 1-0 win. And just watching the game, there's something wrong with Juve's attack. It's like everyone is either just out of form or energy, or they're just not trying. There's just no creativity anymore. And that doesn't just span to some of the players that are bit part players, but even players like Vlahovic and Yildiz, Yildiz specifically missed a great chance. And it was just, I mean, he was burying these chances earlier this season, and it's not happening anymore. Maybe it was because Tudor, I don't know. He's not there anymore. We might see a change, but either way, something had to change for Juve.
Yes, and those are your matches for Serie A match day 8. There's your match review that we had. Which do you think was the most surprising? We'll say surprising. Maybe not the best, but it's surprising.
I want to say, like, surprising wise, I mean, it's kind of a cop out, but Napoli, because anybody could have won the match. It's big on big, but the way that the team was, the morale was bad. They just got beat 6-2 by PSV. Like, there is no chance in hell that I would think that that team, the same team I saw get blasted on in the Champions League. Like, there's 3-1. It's crazy. I didn't see it.
Yeah, I'm gonna be biased and just say it was Fiorentina. Fiorentina was so close, dude. That would have been pretty cool. But they did Fiorentina. Our Fiorentina. Maybe that's why. That's my bias part of it. But yeah, competing with somebody up there, tickling the top 5. If you want to take a look at the table, they're tickling the top 4 actually, as they are number 5. Of course, like you said, Napoli is number 1 with 18 points. They're beating Roma, who is number 2, just on goal differential, also having 18 points. AC Milan, with their draw, dropped down to number 3 with 17 points. And then Inter Milan, with that loss, of course, are down, rounding out our top 4. As I said, Bologna, who are Fiorentina, just drew, looking good up there, tickling the top 4 and taking up the Europa spot in the number 5 spot with 14 points. And I got to say, almost everyone from spot 4 to 8 are happy that none of them got a win, because if any of those teams got a win, they're in the Champions League spots, but they all dropped points, and there was just a little gap from 8, 9, 10 that didn't allow them really to jump up into those spots. But yeah, you see a lot of not green right there around the Europa League, Conference League spots, which is pretty crazy to see. But let's go ahead and look at the bottom of the table. Not so good times over here, as our Fiorentina are the first team that would be relegated if the season ended today. They have 4 points. And in the number 18 spot, they are followed only by Pisa, who also have 4 points. And then Genoa, got to get something together. They're holding up the rest of the table in the number 20 spot with 3 measly points. Also, Pisa have 4 points right now in the 19th spot. They doubled their point count the past 2 weeks. So good things are coming. Yeah, good things are coming. Who knows? We'll try to keep that up. Anything you want to talk about on the...
No, yeah. I was trying to look at the table because I had it up on my side, but now, like, I'm looking at that one. It just looks tiny on my screen. But no, what I'll say is that the promoted teams, just impressive. I guess I'm used to seeing promoted teams not do so well. And I mean, they're not doing tremendous, but still, The fact that we have some outside of Pisa, obviously they're the one we keep talking about.
But there's still one doing pretty not well.
Yeah, outside of Pisa, they're just kind of like, they're right there with the people that are fighting to be mid-table or go a little lower, right? It's just cool to see. That's all I'll say.
Good.
I don't want to jinx anything,
That's good. That's good. That's a good call. Don't do anything for them or against them, actually.
No, there's nothing there. Okay. All right. Well, I think we're good. Let's go on to Germany.
Let's do it. To Bundesliga. Sir, Bundesliga. Bundesliga.
It is Bayern's world, and everyone is just living in it. It's like the teams that are right beneath them look so good against other teams, just not Bayern. You're like, that's man, crazy how good they look this year.
They still need that all-star team. Just stick on Bayern for the rest of Bundesliga.
Yeah, right.
Make one team and just do that. But let's go ahead and talk about it. Again, not much to talk about this week as Bayern is just dominating. The rest of the field just seems to be trying to keep up. And we will start with our top matches and headlines for Bundesliga match day 8. And it was number 1. Unfortunately, our best little mascot, Dortmund, dominating Cologne.
It was a tight affair in the score sheet, but not in the stats. Overall, Dortmund get a 1-0 win over Cologne with the winning goal coming in the 96th minute, and they get right back on track after that loss to Bayern.
Poor little guys, little goats. How you can beat a little goat like that? Just standing on the soccer ball, and they just okay. Anyway, sorry. We'll go ahead and move on because number 2 is Stuttgart are on fire.
Stuttgart make it 5 wins in a row with this 2-1 victory over Mainz, and they're starting to click like they did in the 23-24 season, in a year where Leipzig and Dortmund have already been beaten by Bayern, and Leverkusen are still finding themselves. Could they repeat their second-place finish from a couple seasons ago? Maybe shock Bayern and go for more, Vic? Maybe? Probably not.
Yeah, we'd have to see. There's only 3 people that have more points than in the past 6 weeks that I can tell so far, and one of them is the number 1 team, obviously. And then you have Leipzig and Bayer Leverkusen. They're the only ones with more points or the same amount of points as them in the past 6 weeks. So they're trying to get up there. There's some other teams streaking.
They're stacking them up.
Yeah. Unfortunately, tippy top might be too tall. We don't know. But yeah, those are your top matches and headlines for Bundesliga match day 8. Let's go ahead and get into the rest of the matches that happened. And it all started on Friday as Werder Bremen welcomed Union Berlin and beat them 1-0.
Werder Bremen get the job done against Union Berlin. And it was thanks to the ridiculous curling goal from Marco Gruel, the umlaut, Gruel. But either way, if you haven't seen it, go check it out.
And then we went on to Saturday as Eintracht Frankfurt welcomed St. Pauli and also hand them an L. They win 2-0.
It was just like we called it, with St. Pauli being exactly what the doctor ordered for Eintracht, as they get a much, much needed win. Plus, Burkhardt can't stop scoring now as he gets a brace in this one. And it's now 6 goals in the last 5 Bundesliga matches for Jonathan Burkhardt.
And our next match had business as usual for Bayern Munich as they go on the road to Mönchengladbach and beat them 3-0.
Yeah, not a lot of notes here. Standard 3-0 win for Bayern. Nothing to see. I think the worst part of this, Vic, is the fact that it broke Kane's streak of scoring in 11 straight matches. He didn't get a goal in this one.
Good. It was getting too easy for him anyway. But
yeah,
our next matchup was the Bundesliga belt-to-ass matchup of the weekend, and it was RB Leipzig going on the road, handing Augsburg a 6-0 dominating loss.
Leipzig ran circles around Augsburg, scoring 4 goals before halftime and just sprinkled a couple more in the second half. The most impressive thing was that all 6 goals were scored by a different person. So I don't know if I've seen that before. I know I've seen, 3, 4, 6, all by not the same person. It's pretty crazy.
Oh, cool. And then we had one of our battles of the Berg as Hamburg welcome Wolfsburg, and Wolfsburg walk away with the victory 1-0. Almost said 0.
It works. Hamburg came so close to equalizing and splitting the points. They had Wolfsburg on the ropes and couldn't get it done. But Wolfsburg get 3 much needed points, and we'll see if they can build off of this, Vic.
Then we go from our battles of the Berg to the battle of the Heims as Hoffenheim and Heidenheim a 3-1 loss.
Hoffenheim make it back-to-back wins with no question with a no question victory over Double H. There's no doubt that Heidenheim are going to be fighting relegation all season, but Hoffenheim, they're showing that they won't be, and they might be pushing for more.
And then we ended our Saturday with Dortmund handing a 1-0 win. Let me try that again. We ended our Saturday with Dortmund getting a 1-0 win over our cute little mascot, Cologne.
Dortmund had 23 shots to Köln's 3. They had 11 shots on target to 0 for Köln, and yet it's just a 1-0 win. Even with those glaring stats, Köln had 2 perfect opportunities to score in the first 20 minutes, and it could have been 2-0 up for Köln that early. I mean, it really could have been. They had one-on-ones with the keeper and another great opportunity. They just couldn't convert. Dortmund dug deep, got a stoppage time winner. It is what it is.
And then we moved on to Sunday as Freiburg went on the road to Bayer Leverkusen, and Leverkusen get the 2-0 win.
Leverkusen washed that 7-2 ass whooping they got from PSG out of their mouths with a 2-0 win over Freiburg. I was a little disappointed with the Black Forest boys because they never felt like they were in the game. It never felt like they were going to come back in this one. And maybe that's credit to Leverkusen, who have now shown that they aren't good enough to beat European powerhouses. Not many teams are, but they are still good enough, and they're still got the firepower to hang with the best in the Bundesliga.
And then our match day ended with Stuttgart getting a 2-1 win against Mainz at home.
Stuttgart had to come back from a goal down to get 3 points, and the winning goal comes from Undav and his filthy chip of the keeper. Stuttgart may be struggling in the Europa League, where they've lost back-to-back games against Basel and Fenerbahce, but in the Bundesliga, they are on fire. Opposite for Mainz, though, as they have now lost 4 Bundesliga games in a row and are struggling.
And those are your matches from Bundesliga match day 8. Boy, was I struggling with those freaking titles there. My bad.
Yeah, you were Mainz. You were Mainz right there.
I know, dude. I don't know what's going on with me. I mean, this is some pretty strong whiskey. Maybe that's what's already getting to me.
Hey, there you go. Yeah.
Speaking of strong, we have a strong tippy top of this table. If you want to take a look at the table, as Bayern Munich are still your number 1 reigning defending champions. They have 24 points, 8 straight wins. They are followed by RB Leipzig, who are a full 5 points behind them with 19 in the number 2 spot. Stuttgart have 18 points in the number 3 spot, and Borussia Dortmund are rounding at our top 4 with 17 points in the number 4 spot. Bayer Leverkusen tickling that top 4 in our Europa League spot with 17 points as well, just behind Borussia Dortmund on goal differential. And if we want to take a look at the bottom of the table, we have our Double H Heidenheim with 4 points in the 17th spot. First team to get relegated if the season ended today. And then number 18, the last spot, holding up the rest of the table, are Borussia Mönchengladbach with 3 measly points. Get it together, guys. Again, I like saying your name. I need you guys to stick around because it's fun. And
your favorite matchup is
Mönchengladbach. Yeah,
I was just about to say, there you go. Yeah, I was going to say that's your favorite Bundesliga matchup of the season. Yeah. Looking at the top though, it's like I don't think Bayern. They're so dominant right now. You expect them to continue to win 8 wins in 8. Like it's insane. But I mean, they're still not too many as far as points go. They're not too far away. What is that, Vic? 5 points?
Yeah, 5 points away from RB Leipzig.
That's not crazy. So, but
I mean, you got look at the rest of that table. Look how they're doing. Look at the goal differential. Nobody's even in double digits. Yeah, it's insane.
They're absolutely dominant. I'm just saying that the teams around them are not letting them get so far ahead points wise. Like it's going to come down to those head-to-head matchups. But they already beat Leipzig 6-0 and Dortmund 1-0 or 2-0, whatever it was. So, not too much more that they have to do. If they beat Stuttgart and Leverkusen, then it's kind of game over. So. That's what it is in the Bundesliga. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Anything else from you, sir?
All good. Let's move on.
Okay, let's do it. Let's go to Spain.
Let's do it to La Liga. Mm-hmm. Good week.
Baby, let's do this.
Good. Go ahead.
You.
You go ahead.
All right, I was just saying, going into the weekend, it looked like La Liga and Serie A would be the ones that we'd have the most to talk about. And Serie A definitely took the cake. There's a lot more that happened overall, but man, La Liga had some great matchups. I'm excited to talk about it.
Well, let's do it. Let's talk about the No Business Soccer podcast. top matches and headlines for La Liga match day 10. And where else could we start? Nowhere else to start except for El Clasico.
We got a game that had plenty of action on the field, but it's not the goals we're all discussing today, as there was plenty of drama and headlines coming from this match, as to be expected. Penalties given and not given. Vini Jr. storming down the tunnel after being subbed off. Yamal did everything he could to keep his Barca side, keep them within striking distance, I guess we can say. But either way, Madrid were too much in the end, and it goes 2-1 to Real Madrid.
Yeah, and it was a game that had Lamine Yamal calling people. I think he called 3 different people to the tunnel to go fight. That was pretty cool. And that's when I was like, yeah, that's what I'm talking about. I was texting the
I like this guy. I like this guy.
That's what I'm talking about. Come on, Eddie. He wasn't talking. He was like, no, come on, let's go.
Hey,
come over here. Which was awesome.
Hey,
yeah. We'll talk a little bit more about that. Yeah, we'll talk a little bit more about that match here pretty soon. But let's go on to number 2, top match and headline for La Liga match day 10, and there is something foul in Bilbao.
There's a weird stench in Bilbao at the moment as Athletic Club drop points again in La Liga. They have 1 win in their last 5 La Liga matches and are sitting mid-table. In the last 6 matches, they've lost to Getafe, Valencia, Villarreal, while drawing with Girona and Elche. They got 1 win in there. Can't remember who it was, but either way, those matches that I just read out, or those clubs that I just read out, nothing screams like top of La Liga, definitely going to lose that one. Maybe Villarreal, maybe Elche. But either way, it's just not a good time. Something's just not right with them at the moment. And their next 2 matches are Real Sociedad in the Basque Derby, which you can throw out any records in that one, and Newcastle in the Champions League. So not a great sign for them, as they need to get things going.
Yeah, and it's been pretty crazy for them in the past 6 games. Nothing has been consistent. They went loss, draw, win, loss, draw, loss. No two same results.
No streaks
in a row. Yeah, nothing at all. So got to get something together there. But those are your top matches and headlines for La Liga match day 10. And let's dig into the match day because, like I said, there's not a lot to talk about, but there's some juicy ones. And it started on Friday with Real Sociedad getting the 2-1 win at home against Sevilla.
Feels like a lifetime ago now. A lifetime. That might be a little dramatic of me. Feels like a week ago already. Real Sociedad get their 2nd win of the season and pick themselves up from the relegation zone. And it was thanks to that man, Oyarzabal. He gets a brace in this match after only scoring twice in the 9 La Liga matches prior. And a win for La Real means that it's back-to-back losses for Sevilla as they fall mid-table and are, the really good run of results is far behind them at this point.
And that was your only Friday match. We opened up Saturday with a fun one. It was Girona and Oviedo fighting to a 3-3 draw.
We had a crazy-ass match between these two, with Oviedo going 2-0 up and cruising before Girona are given a penalty in the 64th minute. Stuani buries it to cut the lead in half. And then in the 83rd minute, Onay hits a ridiculous shot from outside the box to level it for Girona before another pin is given to Girona in stoppage time, and Stuani scores. And you felt like this was Girona's day, but it was 8 minutes of stoppage time. Oviedo used every last second to come back and equalize in the 98th minute to split the points. I didn't have this one being the match of the day in my bingo card.
And then we had our next matchup, which was Elche continuing on their little skid here as they lose to Espanyol 1-0.
Espanyol make it back-to-back wins. And prior to the Atleti versus Betis match, which is over now, they did sit in 4th. I think Atleti has definitely jumped them now, but incredible stuff so far from Espanyol. It leaves our Elche with just a single win in their last 5 as they slowly drift back down to reality. But we're not done yet. I believe in us. We'll get it done.
And our next matchup was one of our matches and headlines to watch, and it was Athletic Club getting beat by the visiting Getafe 1-0.
As the announcers, as the announcers mentioned, it was a desperately disappointing night in Bilbao for Athletic Club as they fall to Getafe, who, as we mentioned in the preview, have not been good lately. The score ended 1-0, but by the end of the match, Athletic Club were lucky that Getafe hadn't run up a few more goals. It is bad times in Bilbao at the moment.
And then we ended our Saturday as the visiting Villarreal get a dub over Valencia 2-0.
Both clubs came in needing a win. Golly, what is wrong with us? It's the Submarine that get it done. There was no doubting who the better squad was here, but Valencia are now winless in their last 5 and firmly in the relegation scrap, Vic.
Yes, sir. And then we opened our Sunday with Mallorca and Levante getting a goal apiece, 8 point apiece, and a draw.
It was pouring rain and a sloppy afternoon in Mallorca, and the match played out that way. Under the circumstances, though, a draw wasn't too bad for either side because it was absolutely horrendous out there.
And then next matchup was one of the always best fun times to watch any kind of soccer as Real Madrid get the 2-1 win over Barcelona in El Clasico.
And that announcer's, I don't know his name, but the announcer's voice reminds me of like the Euros or World Cup. Like it just takes me right back those summers. Anyway, we had so much tension and drama in the first El Clasico of the season. So many moments to pull from here, but we'll start with the penalty that was given on the pitch but called off by VAR. Vini actually kicks into Yamal, but Yamal was nowhere near the ball. I think it was fine calling it off, but I want to know, Vic, what did you think about that one? Did you get a chance to see it? Or if you didn't, no big deal.
I did. No, I'm never on Vini's side, so he should have been.
Never on Vini's side.
Yeah, never on Vini's side.
It was definitely weird. I don't know if I've ever seen it before where the penalty was called because the offensive guy kicked into the defender. But either way, they made it right. Didn't work. But either way, Mbappe. Not too much after that. Mbappe is played in by a perfect pass from Bellingham, and he makes it 1-0 to the home side before Fermin Lopez levels it for Barca. Jude makes it 2-1 to Madrid with the easiest goal he'll score in his life as he just taps home unmarked, standing there maybe 2 yards from goal. And then the most controversial play to discuss is the penalty for Madrid that was given for a handball against Eric Garcia. Now, it does touch his hand in the box, but he and Bellingham were sliding out of play, and he's a foot away from Jude. There's no way he's meaning to hit the ball. He's basically hit into his hand, but the ball does hit his hand. And I think this one, it shouldn't have been given, and it goes, and it is given. I mean, that's the best way I could put it. But, Vic, ball don't lie, does it?
Ball don't lie.
Yeah. Mbappe, penalty, blocked. Chesney, the hero. Not really because they end up losing. But either way, it was ball don't lie, definitely in action. The scoreline didn't change, though, but it didn't leave any shortage of headlines after that. Vini Jr. makes a scene as Xabi subs him off in the second half. He apparently says something to the effect of, I'll just leave the team then. And he just walks straight down the tunnel, just like not even going to the bench. Just being a little a crybaby for getting thrown off. And look, I actually really like the way that Vini Jr. plays. He's fun to watch. It's just his antics. Like, why? Just why? Why does it have to be that way?
I'm never on his side, but he did look pretty good in that game. I don't know why.
Yeah, right. He was doing great.
He was doing pretty good. Yeah, but he did walk off, and he came back though. He came back near the.
He did come back, and then he almost got in a fight with Yamal.
Yeah,
so. But Yamal was essentially marked out of this game by Madrid and had to make an impact by dropping deeper and trying to play the assist man. And he gave his guys plenty of chances. They just couldn't convert. The one that comes to mind is the one to Koundé, who he has a perfectly placed header that he can just put into the net. I mean, of course, I say it like it's easy, but he had a better chance of heading it in, but he tries to take it down and then get his shot off. But of course, he can't handle it right. And then it's taken care of. It's like if you were an attacking player, sure, but Koundé, you're a defender for a reason, bro. Just head it. You don't have the touch like those attacking players do. Anyway, great game though. Yeah. Overall, a lot of fun.
Yeah, a lot of fun, and I think it was a game Barcelona was definitely. I mean, obviously, you're always missing Rafinha, and with Rafinha, it could have been different. I don't know. We'll see whenever they play the second leg of this, and we'll see if he's still healthy or why was he out? I think he's
injured, but he's supposed to be. I thought that the rumor was, I said it in the preview too, he was supposed to be back off the bench. Like he was in training this week, but then I think later, like we did that show Thursday. I think Friday it came out that he's probably not going to play. And he didn't, so that they needed him.
Yeah, for sure. But yeah, we could talk about El Clasico all day. Unfortunately, we have some other matches we're going to get to, and we're going to go to our next one. Hard act to follow as Osasuna welcomes Celta Vigo, and Celta Vigo taking the 3-2 W.
Celta get their first win of the season on the road at El Sadar, and it was a wild one with Celta going a goal up, and then Anta Budimir brace gives Osasuna the lead. before Celta level it again. And here's where it gets wacky, Vic. With the game level in the 78th minute, Osasuna are awarded a penalty, and Budimir steps up for the hat trick and tries the Panenka, which hits the bar and bounces back at him. And then 10 minutes later, Celta score and take the lead in all 3 points. Disappointing day for my dude Budimir, who should have had the hat trick and would have had the win.
And then our next match, we missed it, but you can just listen to our. There we go. It came back. I was gonna say we missed it, we lost it, but scoreboard's back over there, and it was our next matchup was
steady, yeah.
Oh yeah, it is. Crap, I didn't even look at it.
There
it is. And our next matchup was the last one for Sunday, second to the bottom there, as Rayo Vallecano welcome Alaves and get the 1-0 win.
Rayo and Alaves battled it out, and Rayo came out on top with at home with a stoppage time goal to take all 3 points. It's now 3 wins in a row for Rayo as they round back into form, back to the team that we know they can be, the one they were last season.
And then we had Monday Night Football today, or yesterday if you're listening to this, when it comes out, as Atletico Madrid go on the road against Real Betis and the GOAT, and they get the 2-0 win.
Yeah, this is exactly what they needed. Didn't get to watch the match yet because it happened during a midweek. But either way, I think this was our only Monday game, so I'll be able to focus in and see what happened on this. Another one that is just unexpected. I won't know what happened exactly until I get to watch it, but to see the result, and I was looking at some of the stats too, it just doesn't it doesn't seem like something that should have happened. We'll have to find out. Betis has been really good lately. Atletico's been okay. Not sure what happened here, but we'll report back with the details. How about that?
Yes, sir. And those were your matches from La Liga match day 10. Again, another fun one. Had some pretty juicy ones. Of course, El Clasico is always the thing to watch every year. Juicy ones. But yeah, fun day of football.
Well, I think, I mean, like I said, La Liga just had a lot of different storylines, things that didn't expect, especially the Monday night one. I was so excited to watch it too, and I ended up not being able to. So, Betis, Atletico Madrid, gonna have to check into that one. Vic, anything else we need to talk about here?
I'm all good here.
Let's do it. Let's go to our final league. Let's go to England.
Let's do it to the Prem.
Yeah.
Heavy drums.
This, I told you I had a lot to talk about here, and specifically with you, and I'm sure you can understand what the question, or I'm sure you know what the questions are going to be about. But you know what? Let's jump into it before.
All right, let's go ahead and go to it. But let's start with your No Business Soccer podcast, top matches and headlines for the Premier League match day 9. And we'll start with number 1, the Cats over the Lions.
Sunderland stunned Chelsea at Stamford Bridge and snatched all 3 points in a famous 2-1 victory for the Black Cats, shooting them into the top 4 heading into the quarter mark of the season. What an incredible run for Sunderland.
Yeah, it was pretty fun. And it's powered by the Latino community. Because remember, this is the team that all the Mexicans got behind, baby.
That's right.
Yeah,
dang.
I forgot that came up again.
So
I saw it in a tweet. Right now, it's sitting in the Champions League spot. Crazy.
Look at that. They needed that. They needed that.
Yep. And then we'll go on to number 2. It's going to pain me to say this, Ryan, if you're listening. Manchester United are back.
United win at Old Trafford as they beat Brighton 4-2. And you got to give credit to Amorim's team as they were clinical, because just when you thought Brighton were going to come back and win this, or at least get a draw, and Mbemo scores and puts Brighton back down again. It's 3 wins in a row for United, who have surely now turned a corner. And that guy with the big hair is he's starting to smile. You know, he's like, oh, we're getting close.
Yeah, I think there's a bunch of people that were bringing that up. They're like, oh, yeah, we're more than halfway there now. And I don't know. Kind of don't want it to end. I kind of want to see.
Yeah, I know, right? Yeah, it'll be sad. It'll be sad if it actually ends.
And then we'll go on to our number 3 spot. And of course, you can't talk about any matches or headlines without bringing up Liverpool's losing streak, because Liverpool lose again.
Brentford beat up on the woeful Liverpool 3-2. It's 4 Premier League losses in a row for Liverpool. I thought they might have turned things around after beating up on Eintracht Frankfurt in the Champions League, but no, that is not what happened. It is getting ugly at Anfield.
Yes, it's not good times. Like I told my boy Christian, whenever we talked about Juve and us, we're like, it's not doing good. And I think I don't know what are we trying to top Man City last year on their losing streak? What we can stop whenever we want. That'd be great.
I forgot that happened. That's right, because they had lost so many in a row. Well, I think I'll save my questions for you for once we actually like break down the match, because just very curious, Vic. Very curious. Your team's making me question what I'm seeing. I don't understand it.
Well, you're not alone, brother. You're not alone. So those are your top matches and headlines for Premier League Match Day 9. And let's go ahead and get into the match day. It started on Friday as Leeds, the newcomers, welcome West Ham and get the 2-1 win.
Leeds beat West Ham on a rainy, cold night in Leeds as they went up 2-0 in the first 15 minutes and coast from then on. It's 3 straight losses for West Ham and not looking good. Also, just headline, our American brethren, Brendan Aronson, scores for Leeds.
Yeah, saw him come up a lot. It was pretty nice, but good for him, and good for American football to get another name out there. But we will go ahead and move on to Saturday as Chelsea welcome the powerhouse Sunderland, and Sunderland get the win 2-1.
Chelsea went 1-0 up in the 4th minute of this one, thanks to Garnacho's first goal in blue. But that was it for them. Nothing for the rest of the match. They were wasteful in their chances, and Sunderland make them pay. Chelsea come in on back-to-back wins and seem to be flying. But after that, there's a ton of questions. Sunderland, however, are almost assuredly not going to be worrying about trying to stay up now. The question is, how high up the table will they finish?
And the funny thing I saw was that Sunderland beat the world champion Chelsea.
That is true. Like, hey, that's not a joke. They are.
Like, you don't got to say that. You got to throw some context in there. But our next matchup was Newcastle welcoming Fulham, and Fulham fall 2-1.
Newcastle come through for the St. James's Park faithful with a win over Fulham thanks to the late goal from Bruno Guimaraes. Fulham actually played great, just couldn't keep Newcastle down for the full 90, and it means they've now lost 4 straight while Newcastle are slowly climbing up the table.
And then we moved on, and it became with Manchester United getting another win as they beat Brighton 4-2.
This was the first time that I can remember seeing Manchester United and thinking, damn, that is a scary team. And it's all thanks to their new boys, Mbemo and Cunha. And like I mentioned earlier, when they took a 3-0 lead and let it slip, and Brighton got back into the game at 3-2, I mean, in stoppage time as well, you just knew that United would crumble, but they just didn't. It didn't happen this time. And Mbembo's goal was with no hesitation. He was straight up assassin. He was a killer on that one, buries it. The crowd goes crazy. And now it's 3 wins in a row, 4 wins in their last 5 for Manchester United. And I don't even know who this team is anymore. Amorim is out. He's like smiling a little bit now. It's crazy.
And then we ended Saturday with Brentford taking on Liverpool, and Liverpool, one of the most in form teams, bad form, but Brentford get the 3-2 win.
That's like, I'm in shape. Round is a shape. It's pretty much what you just said. Exactly. We should be talking about Brentford here and a massive victory for the Bees. But how can you not start with the slumping champions? Brentford found it way too easy to break through that Liverpool backline, and it caused them problems all day. Igor Thiago scores again for Brentford, making it 6 goals in the Prem for him, and that brings him tied for second in the Golden Boot race with Semenyo. They both trail Haaland, who's scored a ridiculous 11 goals already. But either way, what a day for Brentford, and what a bad taste in your mouth. I don't know. I mean, I guess it's like that is the taste now. It's not a taste. You're like, this is what we're drinking now. That Liverpool are just continuing to lose, Vic. What is happening? What is going on?
I do not know. It's just completely uninspired. It looks like I said this last year against with Austin FC. That's how bad they're doing. I'm comparing them to Austin FC, but I was pretty much saying that like they look like they're out there playing pickup soccer with people they've never played with before, and they're just trying stuff. I mean, there were so many missed passes, so many just didn't know where people were going to be in the next spot, so many turnovers, completely uninspired football. And I mean, if Tudor's out, it couldn't be possible for Arne Slot, right? I don't know, but there's some rumblings now.
If you win a Premier League in your first season, I don't think you get sacked the second season, like unless you're like flirting with relegation or something. But no, 0 chance. There's no way. But I will say the fact that like they won and then didn't like try to keep the spine together. They're just like, hey, let's just bring in 8 new players and spend £1 billion and just build this thing. On paper, that's why everybody's excited, because it does work that way. If Arne Slot was the reason that this team was playing well, right? Because then they're plugging into Slot's system and everything's just working. But we didn't know yet. Like he was working with people, players that were Klopp's players, and he did have his system, yes, but the team was gelled. They knew each other for years and years, and now we're trying to break all that up. And I don't know, it's just a weird thing. They said, I was listening to a podcast about it. They were just saying that the players they brought in the way that they're playing in Slot's system, it feels like round peg, square hole type of thing. Like it's just not working out. And you take the probably arguably the best German talent in Bundesliga, young talent in Florian Wirtz, and now he's just, he's anonymous on this team. It's just crazy to see. Even Ekitike, all these guys, Isak, all of them, amazing on their respective teams last year, and then you put them all together, and it's just like, when does that ever work out? I guess if you're Real Madrid or Barcelona, it works out, but it's just not for Liverpool right now.
No, it's not. We had a little flash of it in our Champions League match against Eintracht, but if this team can play together, they're dangerous. I haven't seen it yet, so they're not. Even when they had their 5-game win streak, they weren't dangerous. They were getting by, and still no draws for Liverpool. Be nice to have at least a draw. That'd be great pretty soon.
Like, I'll take one of them right about now.
It's either win or loss, so we got to figure something out. But yeah, again, we can go ahead and move on. This is not a Liverpool podcast, unfortunately. So let's go ahead and move on and get me out of my misery. And we go on to Sunday as Wolverhampton welcome Burnley, and Burnley getting the 3-2 win.
Wolves were very unlucky in this one as they fall to Burnley, and it means that they have now been beaten by all 3 promoted sides. Burnley did well to get out to a 2-0 lead before Wolves stormed back, and it was Wolves who had Burnley on the ropes, taking shot after shot, but Burnley got the winning goal in the 90th minute in his back-to-back wins for Burnley, and Wolves just circling the drain.
Yep, Wolves at the bottom of the table, and then we go to the top of the table as Arsenal getting a 1-0 win against Crystal Palace at home.
Arsenal continue to build on their lead at the top of the table after beating Palace. They had some chances, but in the end, it's another 1-0 win. It doesn't need to be pretty, just needs to be effective, and so far, Arsenal have been everything, they've been effective. That's what I'm trying to say. They've been effective. I was listening to that same podcast. They were talking about the Athletic podcast, if you care to know. And they were just talking about how a lot of people are not necessarily in Arsenal camp, but just the noise around Arsenal is just how boring they are because they can't score from anything other than corners or from dead ball situations. But, does it matter if you're just going to be winning at the top of, like, if you're just gonna be winning your first championship in a while, you're gonna be winning the Prem for the first time since the Invincibles. I don't know if they've won it since then, but it's just, would you take that? And I'm thinking to myself, yeah, I probably would. Like Chelsea winning it with Mourinho, not fun to watch. Best defensive record in the game. They win the Prem, but it wasn't fun to watch. Same thing with Arsenal. Does it matter? I don't know. You tell me, Vic, because your team's actually won. How would you prefer a team that's winning 1-0, but it's not fun to watch, but they win the Prem? Or would you want a little bit more expansive, like fun to watch football?
Well, I'm used to the fun, expansive football, and it's one of the things I said in the last episode that I don't see with Liverpool anymore. Like, it used to be where Salah would get the ball, and you'd be like, oh, something's about to happen.
Like,
now
something's about to happen,
yeah, now he gets the ball, and like, he's about to turn it over. Don't worry about it. He's going to, it's kind of like when you're playing ball with your friends, you're like, let him shoot. You're like, oh, no, come on, man. I'm not that bad yet. But at this point, I would happily take that. Being dangerous on set pieces and actually getting some goals and getting wins. But I don't know. I'm stuck in between. I don't know.
We'll find out. Right now, Arsenal is fine. They're playing fine.
Yeah. And someone who was fine, but maybe not so much after this past weekend, Man City fall on the road against Aston Villa 1-0.
On the preview, I was asking if this Villa streak, if this Villa resurgence was something that they can take onto a big team, a big club like City, and they did just that. It was just one of those days where the Blues where they can't find a goal, and they go down to Villa on the road. Villa are now on a 4-game win streak in the Prem and shooting up the table with big victories. A big storyline coming from the game comes from Jadon Sancho, though, and he got subbed off by I think it was like the 20th minute being on. Like he came in as a sub and he was subbed off like 20 minutes later, something like that. And obviously he was a little pissed, but his manager's trying to dap him up, like, hey, whatever, like no hard feelings. And he just just disses him straight up, just looks the other way and walks by him, goes to the bench, causes a little, it wasn't like Vinicius Jr. scene, but it was definitely like, dude, come on, chill a little bit. It's obviously frustration left him hanging, but all of this happens on a day where they beat City. You just expect a little bit more points from Sancho. Either way, great victory for Villa.
Yep, and then we go to our next matchup as Bournemouth, still looking impressive this season, get a 2-0 win over Nottingham Forest at home.
I think we all saw this result coming as Bournemouth cruise past Forest 2-0 and shoot up to second in the table in the process. There is so much parity in the league with victories coming from unexpected places, and seeing Bournemouth in second a quarter through the season, it's just crazy. And they are not just there by a fluke. They actually look really good.
And then we ended our match day 9 with your boy Snooze against Danny P. It was Everton versus Tottenham, but Tottenham go on the road and get a 3-0 victory.
Everton fall at the Hill Dickinson Stadium for the first time, and it's at the hands of my Spurs. In the preview, I said that we might not see a lot of goals, and certainly didn't see a 3-0 in the cards for Spurs, who are now up to third in the table. It was a great game, but kind of like Arsenal, I think 2 of the goals, maybe all 3 of them for Spurs, came from dead ball situations, from corners. So, maybe that's why I'm not too shaken up about Arsenal winning with 1-0, because Spurs can't score unless it's a corner either. So it's all good. It seems like the fad now in the Prem, Vic.
Yeah, let's see if Liverpool can get a little piece of that action. Congratulations to you, Snooze, on your victory over Danny P.
Thank you.
Are y'all playing each other in fantasy football too right now?
No, I whooped his ass last week.
Oh, okay. You whooped his ass last week, whooped his ass this week.
Yes. And it's a great time.
He's going to edit all this shit out.
Yeah, he is.
All right. Those were your Premier League matches from match day 9. A fun weekend. And a bunch of weird things happening. Just got a ping from Danny P. He looked pretty, I don't know.
He's talking?
Oh, he's talking with it. He said he pretty much sent this right here. But yeah, pretty fun match day in match day 9 for Premier League, and some weird results and further proof that we are living in the upside down. Let's go ahead and take a look at the table, as Arsenal are your champions right now. They have 22 points, 4 points clear of the number 2, which is AFC Bournemouth. They have 18 points. And then again, proof of that living in the upside down. Tottenham Hotspur at the number 3 spot. They were just 1 spot away from relegation last year, and now they are occupying a Champions League spot. That's crazy, with 17 points. Tied with them is the newly promoted Sunderland, rounding out our top 4, also with 17 points, of course, behind Tottenham Hotspurs on goal differential. And then tickling our top 4 is Manchester City in the number 5 spot with 16 points, taking up that Europa League spot. And where you won't find the defending champions in any European League spot right now. They're number 7. Liverpool number 7, have not won since we went 5 points up on the table. And it's showing. And who do you think leaped them? Manchester United. Ryan, I'll never give you props, but congratulations on your team. Whatever. I don't know. We'll just see if you listen to this, I'll buy you lunch, but I don't think you're listening. So
nah.
But yeah, let's go ahead and take a look at the bottom of the table now. As one of last year's best stories, Nottingham Forest now occupy a relegation spot. They are in the number 18. They're number 18 with 5 measly points on a 4-game losing streak. Behind them is West Ham United with 4 points in the 19th spot. And then holding up the rest of the table with 2 measly points are those Wolverhampton Wanderers. And who you will not see is a newly promoted team for once. And let's hope it stays that way just for some kind of fun mix-up. But the newly promoted teams right now doing pretty great in the number 4 spot, in the number 15 spot, and 16 spot out of relegation, but Leeds still getting a win. Burnley still getting the win this past weekend. not bad for promoted teams right now.
Not bad at all. And I'm excited to see it because we've needed some shakeup like this it's been very predictable for a while, right? First it was City winning it. Last season there was no doubt by like this time that Liverpool would be winning it, and this year, I don't want to say it, but Arsenal look like they'll probably win it, but everything else is just crazy right now. It's a fun time in the Prem.
Agreed.
Look at us.
Oh, yeah.
Hour in. I think we're good. Before we jump out of here, though, before we play my music, DJ, hold on. I do want to say we have a lot of midweek cup matches. The Carabao Cup round of 16s going on in England. I think there's also cup matches, DFB Pokal going on in Germany, other cups. But Serie A actually does have a midweek madness, which is crazy. I don't know the last time that I saw that for them, but not a ton of great matches on deck. The two that I will call out though, tomorrow, 2:45. If you're watching this match is for what's today, Vic? Today's Monday, so Tuesday. So you'll see it probably. Atalanta versus Milan. And the other big match on board is Inter versus Fiorentina. We'll break all those down once they're done. I would kind of give you a little bit about what happened. Maybe not a full wrap-up, but at least a little bit of a discussion. But either way, Wednesday we have Inter in our Fiorentina, and Atalanta versus Milan is tomorrow. Should be a lot of fun, Vic. Okay,
should be fun.
I think we're good.
Tune in.
DJ, play our music. Vic, take us home.
Again, we appreciate you guys for taking some time out of your evening, your day, whenever you're listening, and talking some European football with you boys at the No Business Soccer Podcast. Be sure to follow us on all of our social medias. We are on everything at No Business Soccer Podcast, except for TikTok, except for Twitter. Those are at No Biz Soc Pod with a Z, because those names were too damn long. Everyone, let's enjoy this midweek matchup, and we will all talk to you very soon as we go over next weekend's matches. We love you.
Peace.